So since the breakup in New England between Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, seems like, Tom Brady's had a major glow up, as we know, and as we see on almost every single breakup now that kind of happens. If you have friends that get broken up with, or you've been through a breakup yourself, there's different stages, right? The breakup happens. You always talk about it being mutual. Now, we both decided it's really not working out. We both decided it's best if we see other people. We go our separate ways. Deep down, you don't want to be mean, but okay, one way or another, for the most part, this is not mutual. Usually the person saying it's mutual is one that was broken up with. Let's just be completely honest here. Right? There's really no reason to say, it's mutual if you're the one who actually pulled the cord. So for the most part, there are exceptions, but for the most part, when breakups happen, usually it's one person breaking up with the other. And as we saw in New England, a breakup happened between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Now, whether you want to say Bill Belichick didn't want Tom Brady back, wanted to move on, whether you want to say Tom Brady wanted to stay but didn't get the right contract, he wanted to go somewhere else before, show Bill Belichick he can win. Semantics. You can debate back and forth. But what usually and typically happens in a breakup is that both go separate ways, and what do you do right away? You show you're single. You go on social media, you post some pics where you look really good. Maybe you make some sort of comment, but you really try to put it out there to let everyone else know, hey, I'm back on the market, I'm single. What has Tom Brady done this offseason? He's been on social media, posting pictures of him with his new Bucs teammates, posting pictures of him in his new Bucs uniform, living life, having fun, loving Bruce Arians, practicing with his teammates, loving his new teammates. Tom Brady has taken over social media and has let it known, hey, I'm having a lot more fun in Tampa Bay than I had in New England, excuse me. I am loving Tampa. I'm loving the life. I'm loving my new teammates. I love where I am. I'm winning this breakup. I'm the one who's having this glow up. I'm the one who's getting all the attention now in Tampa Bay. I'm the new hot thing, right? The Buccaneers are that shiny new object. We look at the Buccaneers. Oh, will they be really good? Super Bowl aspirations. Look at this team. Look at the weapons Brady's to throw to. Wow, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. He's really never had that 1-2 punch before. Now he had Gronk. Now you had Leonard Fournette. Wow, look at this team. They are the shiny object. We've talked a lot about Tom Brady. We've talked a lot about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this offseason. You know we haven't really talked about too often? Again, outside of really when Cam Newton signed with the Patriots? Bill Belichick. How come right now in this breakup that has happened, is it possible that actually both parties have mutually benefited? Both parties are better off without each other. Again, we just talked about how it's rarely mutual. Usually one person is the one that initiates the breakup. Usually they're the ones who are, ready to get back being single. Maybe the person who's broken up with is depressed, doesn't want to see other people. They only want to be with that person. Seeing, their now ex on social media kind of flaunting, having fun, or seeming to have fun makes it worse. But how about Bill Belichick? Because right now, his glow up seems just as impressive, if not even more impressive, than Tom Brady's. We just don't see it because he's not on social media. But how come now he drops a few subtle hints now? How come he's not getting the same attention for his new, we'll call it lease on life, without Tom Brady? Because Bill Belichick is having subtle signs and showing subtle signs that he is benefiting just as much as Tom Brady is from a change of scenery. Now, obviously, Bill Belichick's still in New England, both a new quarterback. Number one, here's one of the first signs that you can really see that is a different Bill Belichick. He is more energized. You hear him talk about Cam Newton. I'm going to play here a Cam Newton clip in a second. You hear him talk about Cam Newton, the impact he has, the hard worker he is. Bill Belichick never talks about any player on his own team this way. Here's Bill Belichick. He's on the NFL Network Radio on SiriusXM, last week. Here's Belichick talking about Cam Newton's work ethic.
He's here early, he stays late, and he works very hard. Some players like to work on things that they're good at, like if you're strong on a bench press and you just keep throwing more weight on the bench. But Cam's the type of player that, works on things that he's not as good at and really tries to improve on a daily basis. And that's something that, I really respect about him.
So, again, okay. Doesn't really sound like a lot, right? It's not gushing praise. He's not going above and beyond to really praise Cam Newton and the impact he's had. But let me ask you this. For Bill Belichick, in terms of Bill Belichick, his personality, his persona, the way he talks to the media, when has he ever talked about a player on his own team like that? Ever. Ever. Can someone pull me a clip of the last time he talked about Tom Brady like that? Honestly, I can't remember the last time he gave a compliment to Tom Brady. Seriously, I'm being dead serious. 20 years. He's never really raved about Tom Brady, talked about his work ethic, talked about his leadership, talked about working on his flaws. So it's a small snippet. He still sounds a little more energetic, but for the most part, it's the same monotone voice. Oh, we were on this Kansas City. He plays really well. We're just trying to do the best for the football team. It's a little more energetic than that. But that is, in Bill Belichick's world, that is gushing praise for a player on his own team. He reserves that sort of compliment, that sort of, what's the word I'm looking for here? Expanding on a player for the opposing team. He will rave about the upcoming opponent. This quarterback does this really well. I really respect his game. It's going to be a really tough challenge for us. He never talks that much. He never gives that much praise. He never expounds on one player's strengths on his own team ever. Ever. And here he is talking about Cam Newton gushing in Bill Belichick's world. And with relative to him and how he is gushing about Cam Newton and what he's brought to the team so far. So that's number one. He's more energized. He's actually talking about players on his own team, and he's talking about Cam Newton in a way he's never talked about Tom Brady before. That's not an accident. Number two, I just saw this for the first time last night. I saw it on social media a few weeks ago, but I saw my first Bill Belichick commercial live on television last night. The guy is doing commercials. He is out there for Subway, cutting sleeves off suits, saying, hey, your best option for lunch right now is a foot long from Subway. Forget just doing commercials. When have we ever seen Bill Belichick in the public eye, not at a press conference, not at a game? Answer, never. That guy hates being seen. Every once in a while, his still girlfriend, Linda Holiday, will post an Instagram picture of them two on vacation somewhere. You always get the Bill Belichick 6 rings boat that he has. Other than that, you never see Bill Belichick, again, outside of a press conference, outside of a game. He hates the media. He hates the public life. You will never see him anywhere but those 2 spots in public. Now, what is he doing? Tom Brady leaves. This man is filming Subway commercials. Subway, of all things, by the way. That's not an accident. Normal Belichick is not filming Subway commercials because you know why? He doesn't have time for that. I don't care if it was filmed in February or March or April or May. That guy is game planning something in those times. He is working on the draft. He's working on free agency. He's working on stopping Lamar Jackson. He's working on stopping Patrick Mahomes. He's not doing Subway commercials. He doesn't need the money. He doesn't need to be in the public spotlight. He doesn't want to be in the public spotlight. But here he is, advertising for Subway. So he's doing commercials. He's more energized. Now, this is the tough part. Because, again, they're subtle. Especially that Cam Newton. You really kind of got to, really got to know Bill Belichick, know how he is, knows how he answers questions. Because anything more than 3 words about his football team is a lot. Any answer more than we're doing what's best for the football team when discussing a position, when discussing a player, is like he's writing a novel. You never hear it. Excuse me. Now he's raving about Cam Newton. He's doing Subway commercials. This is not your average Bill Belichick. He is enjoying the breakup just as much as Tom Brady is. He is benefiting just as much as Brady. Brady does it in the more public light on Instagram where he has a lot more followers and he has more where we could see him. But low-key, Bill Belichick is benefiting just as much. Maybe he's enjoying life. He's reinvigorated now that Tom Brady's gone. He's the underdog for really the first time in his career. And it looks like he's enjoying that role. Now, here's the major question. Will this translate into a successful season? With Cam Newton as your quarterback, can you win the AFC East for the 17th time in 18 years? Can you make a playoff run? Can you upset the Ravens or the Chiefs? get to an AFC title game? Can you have even a better record than the Buccaneers? Those are the questions I still doubt. It's Bill Belichick. He seems to be enjoying life for the first time ever. This is the same guy. He wins a Super Bowl. The guy wins a Super Bowl. He's on the podium, accepting the Lombardi Trophy, and he talks about, well, we're really behind on draft prep. These other teams have been off now for a month. They are way ahead of us in scouting. They know all the players we need to catch up on. We basically have to go back to work tomorrow. This is a guy who hates joy. He hates celebrating. This guy is at a Super Bowl parade, chanting no days off. No days off. This guy hates basking in success. He hates doing anything that is not preparing for opponents, watching film, or reading scouting reports. He doesn't do anything else. Takes one fishing trip a year to Nantucket. Other than that, he's back in the lab, designing new defenses, scouting out players that come from Division III schools to be the next All-Pro. Yet here he is, doing commercials, being in the public eye, smiling. It does, I'm not going to lie, it does make me rethink my AFC East prediction. Because I'm really interested to see what a relaxed, fun-having Bill Belichick is like. Not to mention, by the way, half his defense opted out. You think that you're busy enough now in a regular season? How about when your best linebacker opts out? How about when your best safety opts out? By the way, a few other players left in free agency. It's a whole rebuild on the defense. But here's Bill Belichick, seeming for the first time ever, coming off a playoff disappointment, coming off your quarterback for 2 decades, going somewhere else. He seems to be enjoying life for the first time, maybe free of the Tom Brady reigns, maybe happier that Tom Brady left than Tom Brady is leaving New England. And we'll see what that translates to on the field. Again, I'm still picking the Bills to win the AFC East. I'm still very skeptical that Cam Newton can stay healthy to be successful this year. But I think it's really interesting that we've talked a lot about Tom Brady. We've put a lot of hype on the Bucs. I think we talked about how Tom Brady fits in Tampa Bay, but yet we neglect Bill Belichick and the things he's been doing that are abnormal for him. We are so used to Bill Belichick to being ho-hum, barely hear what you're saying because he's mumbling some sort of press conference. He is monotone whether he has the best day of his life or the worst day of his life. Here he is showing emotion, showing some personality that he's never done before. I think it's worth watching. I think it could lead to some real success in New England, but that's more just a wild card spot. So I'm curious this year. I'm curious in your mind. You see Bill Belichick doing commercials. You see him raving about Cam Newton. Really seems to be bought in on Cam Newton. Does that equal an AFC Championship game this year? Will that equal a better record? Who will have the better record this year, Tom Brady or Bill Belichick? I'm still going Brady. I'm still giving the Bucs that advantage. But I think it's interesting. For the first time, we are seeing Bill Belichick not be himself. And I wonder what that equals on the field, if that's a good thing or a bad thing.